to the Late Late Show. Coming up on tonight's programme, we meet Ireland's Oscar hopefuls. TV star Christine Bleakley talks about fame, Dancing on Ice and her upcoming marriage to Frank Lampard. Also tonight, Eamon Dunphy speaks his mind about why young people should emigrate. Also, after 20 million records and 40 years in the music business, Foster and Allen tell us why they now face bankruptcy. And with the CAO deadline just around the corner, we have the perfect guide to getting straight A's in the Leaving Certificate. Music tonight comes from Raoul Mallow, Maverick Sabre and the toy show star who could be storming to the top of the charts. All of this will be happening in the company of our own Late Late Show house band. Ladies and gentlemen, there they are. Well, with the CAO deadline just around the corner, the pressure of the Leaving Certificate is well and truly on. It can be one of the most stressful, traumatic experiences for any student and the family, but it doesn't have to be, as my next guest will explain. They all managed to get straight A's in the Leaving Certificate, and they're going to tell us exactly how they did it. Would you welcome, please, Katie Hewitt, Cillian Fahy and Zoe Lynch. Welcome all. OK, so let's just go down the line quickly and say, for starters, how many points you got and what you're doing now with those points.
Okay. I'm Katie. I got 600 points when I sat the Leaving Cert this year, and I am now doing medicine in UCD.
In UCD. And what about you, Cillian?
I'm Cillian.
Yes.
I've got...
It's not University Challenge. You just have to say just what points you got and what you're doing with them.
At the moment, I'm doing literature in Trinity College, and I got 580.
580. And Zoe?
Yeah, I got 600 points as well, and I'm doing psychology in Trinity. OK, so you're all doing what I suppose whatever it is you wanted. You did the Leaving Cert twice, so
yes,
I don't know if that
was my second go at it.
Right, the first go you got how many points?
565. So I got 4 A1s, B1 and B2, and it wasn't enough to get me into medicine. So I decided I was going to go and do it again because I really wanted to do medicine.
And you repeated it, and you got how many points then in total? 600
points then.
So that's as good as you're going to get, isn't it? And
yeah.
Why was it so important for you to do medicine? Was it an academic thing or a personal thing? Or?
Well, it was a bit of both. It's something I've always kind of really wanted to do. I lived with my granddad for the last few years there, and he was always really sick. So a good few times he was brought into hospital, and I'd go in, and we'd all be sat down, the family would be told, look, this man is at death's door, he's really sick. And then miraculously the doctors would bring him back, and he'd live a life like he had just exactly the same as he had before. And I just thought to myself, wow, that's amazing. How do they do that? I'd love if I could do that in my life. So that was kind of what made me want to do it. That was initially anyway.
And how did you do it? I mean, there's so many students and the parents are looking tonight going, give us an idea of how it works.
Well, the first year, I think I didn't really have the right strategy of going about things. Like, I took subjects, I spent a lot of time on subjects like Irish and English, where I was never going to get A's in them. You know, I spent so much time in them, and I got B's in both of them, which is brilliant if B's are what you're looking for. If a B is your top mark, that's brilliant, but I really needed to get 600 points for medicine. So the second year, I cut out the language subjects, and I took all science subjects, because I knew that was where my strengths were. So I did my science subjects. I really just went at it. I had lots of like my own tricks, flashcards and stuff like that.
Don't just say stuff like that. It's the stuff like that we need to know about.
So
flashcards.
Flashcards, yeah. Like recording things so that you can listen back to them and say them again and again. Just keep going over. Like repetition, I think, is the key to the Leaving Cert. Well,
staying awake is helpful. How did you manage that?
Staying awake, yeah. Well, Baraka, my mom actually every morning, she's up there somewhere. Every morning she used to give me like a cocktail of Baraka and vitamins and iron. Omega-3 apparently is great for your brain.
Yes.
That was anything she ever heard was good for you in the radio. I was fed that.
Oh right, oh really? Okay. Yeah. What about the week before? You had obviously.
Yeah, a bit of a disaster. So I had to. I mean, the week before my granddad actually passed away.
Okay.
So that was quite tough. Like that was hard for me, but. That's life. You just have to go on with it. And
you kept it together, obviously.
I kept it together. Yeah. Well, I couldn't really study. You know, you have a lot going on if someone passed away. So, I just went. I had to forget about study for a few days, and I actually think maybe that was kind of good for me to be able to let go before the exams. But the fact was that I had all my preparation done. So it's important for people who are going to be sitting the Leaving Cert in June now to be prepared. Like. Now every day is important because you never know what's going to happen.
So,
you know?
Cillian, strategy is key. But what do you attribute your great results to?
Well, I think confidence is very important, to be honest. Yeah, you need to have a very clear mindset. You need to be confident in your abilities, I suppose. It's interesting, Katie actually mentioned in terms of taking a break just before the exams. I mean, taking breaks during your study continuously is very good, just little ones. What I like to try and do is sort of trick myself into studying when I'm taking my breaks.
I like the sound of that one.
You know, I'm relaxing, but I'm not really relaxing.
Yeah.
So the internet is absolutely fantastic.
Now be careful the internet, because you could just, I'm just going to have a quick check at Facebook. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's distracting, it's full of distractions.
5 minutes on Facebook is like an hour in real life. You know, it's absolutely terrible. YouTube as well. You know, they're big problems.
So discipline, really, isn't it? Just
discipline.
Keep that. You said for people who don't have confidence, how do you attain confidence? I mean, what if you are one of those people who just lacks it?
Well, in terms of confidence, I suppose you don't have to be too confident. You just can't be nervous. And I mean, being nervous is not a natural state, so you need to look at why you are nervous. I think the biggest thing for most people is they start counting down. They go, oh, I've got so many days left of the Leaving Cert. I've got 100 days left of the Leaving Cert. What am I going to do? The trick is, set yourself up a nice timetable. Look at how much time you've got left. Set yourself up a timetable so you'll get everything done, and then stop. And don't think about it. And just go with that timetable. Get yourself into a system and just keep going. That way you can be totally relaxed.
Zoe, did you use the internet or iPods or technology to help you through?
Yeah, actually, I was doing 2 language subjects, both German and French. So I decided that it was kind of crucial for me that I had a way of conquering the oral and the oral aspects of the exam, because together both of them account for almost half of your grade.
Yes.
So I downloaded German and French onto my iPod, and in the mornings, Monday morning, I'd be listening to German on the way in to school on the bus, and on the same on the way home. Or if I was doing something banal like cleaning my room or something like that, I would have it always kind of playing in the background. So
subliminally, there was always something going on.
Or before I went to bed or something like that. They say apparently if you listen to it before you go to bed while you're sleeping, it somehow seeps its way into your brain.
Did you all have a life that year, or did you all just become automatons, robotic creatures who just were all about the books?
No, I think it's important to have a life.
Did you have a job? Did you have a boyfriend?
Yeah,
Did you go to parties? What did you do to make life real?
All of that.
All of the above?
Yeah.
So where did you get the time? How many days in your week, as a matter of interest?
Yeah, there's 7 days in everyone's week, Ryan.
No, I was just checking. I was never good at maths.
Yeah. I worked at the weekend, so I had that. So I worked in actually Domino's Pizza.
Did you?
Yeah. So 6 o'clock on a Saturday and Sunday I worked in there. And I just knew, I actually think that was the best thing that ever happened to me, because otherwise I would lie in on a Saturday and a Sunday and I wouldn't get anything done. I'd say I'll do it later on in the evening, but I knew it had to be done by 6 o'clock. So, I mean, I had to get up in the morning and set myself out what I was going to do for that day.
So you had a part-time job, you had a boyfriend?
Yes.
You had, and you had, you went to the cinema, did all these things?
Yeah, well, I used to just take every Friday off. Friday was my day off, and there was no way I would study on a Friday. Okay, so every other day I studied, Friday I didn't study.
You treated yourself. What about you, Cillian? Did you have a life beyond the books?
Well, I'm still trying to get a life back, actually, to be honest with you. I really didn't have that much of a life. It was, head down, straight into the books. I mean, I also had a girlfriend who's watching, and she's wonderful.
Great, and you still have her. Well done.
Yeah, it's an achievement itself.
It is indeed.
But I didn't have too much. I just sort of put my head down and said, okay, I'm going to do this. I definitely took breaks all the time in my study, though, so I made sure that it wasn't too stressful at any stage, but I did sort of focus on that entirely.
You sold your notes on the internet?
I did indeed,
Was it eBay or what was it?
It was eBay, yeah.
What made you think that your notes would be so popular, and which they were, and lucrative?
Yeah.
What was it about your notes that were so good?
I don't know. I mean, the idea was really just to get them out of the house, to be honest with you. Not exactly. No, I sort of felt that there was something valuable in being able to look back at a student's experience and to see what they did, the mistakes they made, the problems they fell into, and be able to avoid that. So that's the way I sort of pitched them.
Can I ask you how much you got for them as well?
I got nearly €3,000, actually.
Did you?
Yes.
I want them, and I'm not even doing the Leaving Cert.
I still have a stack of notes at home.
You still have them there?
I get that all the time. Everyone goes, well, I have fantastic notes, actually.
Yeah, I'd say. What about you, Zoe? Did you have life beyond the books?
Yeah, absolutely. I certainly think that's something that needs to be stressed to viewers watching. The Leaving Cert, it's a long slog. For me, it was certainly a 2-year thing, 5th year and 6th year. But I think it's important to incentivize yourself every day. I had a boyfriend. I saw the girls every weekend. I'd go for walks. I'd watch TV. I wasn't constantly studying.
You two of you went to the Institute of Education.
Yeah.
Who's that? The 2 girls.
Yeah.
Which is it's a very expensive thing for a lot of people. I think would be fair to say, and it's very intensive. And you repeated, so that's you didn't go to a grind school or anything like that.
No, I went to Gore Community School in County Galway.
Straightforward. Do you think that you had an advantage in that respect then? Like you're different to a lot of students watching tonight?
Don't think so. I think people kind of think that if you go to a grind school, you get everything handed to you, which you don't. You have to work. It's all your own work. You have to put it in, even nearly more so because you do everything in a year.
So it doesn't feel like a hand up or a
well,
leg up,
I mean, it's a brilliant school. You've the best teachers, but you do have to put in your own work, and everyone has to do the same work for the Leaving Cert anyways.
All right, Sean Flynn is in the audience there. Sean is the education editor with the Irish Times. Good evening, Sean. Huge pressure. A lot of people watching tonight. Whatever about our fine students as they were once upon a time with their straight A's. A lot of people watching tonight going, the next few months are going to be pretty tough. Is it too much pressure? Is it?
It's a lot of pressure, isn't it? I mean, I think anybody who's done the Leaving Cert has the recurrent nightmare of going in the following morning and wondering, have you peg for Irish? We all have nightmares. We all feel the pressure of the Leaving Cert, and there is a huge amount of pressure, and there's always been pressure about the Leaving Cert. I think there's pressure coming particularly from parents, as that sometimes parents set unrealistic expectations for their own kids, and it's important to point out, notwithstanding the great achievements of the students here this evening, that the average student actually in the Leaving Cert gets 305 points. Yeah. 7,000 students get less than 200 points. 1 in 600, Ryan, actually gets the perfect Leaving Cert. So, we need to get this in perspective. There's a lot of attention and a lot of natural focus, I suppose, on the high achievers. But there's a lot of students out there who get 200 or 300 points, and literally every day of the week, teachers are on to me saying, somebody in my school has got 250 points. That's an outstanding, that's a towering achievement.
I think it's important to say, isn't it, that there are options if you don't do well in the Leaving Cert. There are other places to go if you don't get what you require.
It's amazing. I was talking to a girl only last week. She's in her mid-20s, Ryan. She got 210 points in the Leaving Cert, wanted to do nursing, was absolutely devastated, ended up doing a cert diploma course, ended up doing a past degree, moved all the way through the system, and we have a very good further education system here in Ireland, moved through the system and is now lecturing in the third level college in the UK.
And that's a nice lesson on which to end our piece. Any of you interested in following the Eamon Dunphy School of Emigration and getting the hell out at 21, 22? Leaving Ireland?
Absolutely not.
The dump and the kip, he described it as.
No, I'm tied down for the next 6 years in college anyway, so...
Are you happy living here?
Yes, delighted with myself.
Well, I think I'll leave it to Samuel Taylor Coleridge. Said, "There lives neither form nor feeling in my soul, and borrowed from my country."
Well, there's your A in English. How about you, Zoe? Nice quote.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was born in America, so I have American citizenship, which is obviously an advantage. But I'm happy here for the moment anyway, and we'll see what the future holds.
Well, that's 3 people who are staying behind, so that's good news. Katie, Cillian, Zoe, thank you for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, our straight A students, thank you very much. Thank you. Well, there you are. That's it for part 2. Ladies and gentlemen, still to come, Christine Bleakley. And we take a look at a controversial new exhibition featuring very real dead bodies. Stay with us.